Hey, let's calm down. Let's go. Good morning, everyone. Pete Cohen here. Welcome to the show. Welcome to day 2. In fact, I need to just do something myself. A couple of things I don't normally do, but hey, who likes to do things they don't normally do? Let's start this. So this is day 2, my friends. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited, as I am most days, to share with you, because as many of you know, I believe in you. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I want every single one of you to do me a favor. Who's going to do me a favor after this? Who's going to do me a favor? There's a car driving into our driveway. Who do they think they are driving into our driveway at this God early time? Who's going to do me a favor? Because this is the favor. There was a song that came out in the 1980s. You might have heard of it. If you haven't heard of it, please write this song down. It is by a group called Imagination, and the song is called Illusion. Okay, please write that down. It's very important. Just imagine if they'd said things to us like this at school, where they'd got us to do things really outside of the box, because we have to think outside of the box. If we don't think outside of the box, then we end up just being like everybody else. And what stops you from being your very, 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 very best? Well, in many cases, it's emotion. It's certain emotions that perhaps you feel that you don't want to feel. Do you ever feel worry? Do you ever feel doubt? Do you ever feel anxiety, sadness, depression, guilt, jealousy, frustration? If you do, then there's another song by Michael Jackson. You are not alone. I am here with you. I'm going to share my problems with you. And all we're going to do is talk about our problems. By the way, guys, if you haven't shared this, please share it. Let's get this information out there to the world, because the reason people are struggling in their life is because of fear. Why do I know so much about fear? Well, I lived my life in fear. For years, I was frightened of so many different things. But fundamentally, the biggest fear I had was the fear that I was not good enough, the mother of all fears. So when we look at this, when we look at what stops us from living life to our fullest potential, really what it is, without really any shadow of a doubt, from years of looking at things, if you look at worry, fear, doubt, anxiety, sadness, depression, anger, hate, all of these emotions, really where they come from is fear. When we are frightened, it's like the mother. All of these things, if you've ever seen, actually I dare not say this because some people will be frightened of spiders, but if you've ever seen a small little spider, even a small one that has babies, there can be loads and loads of babies. And it's like all these little babies come from the mother. So the mother of all negative emotions is fear. Please understand it. Not only have I studied psychology, but I've written 18 books. And one of the best books I've ever written, which was published in multiple languages around the world, was Fear Busting. How many of you would like to bust your fear, conquer your fear, to be fearless? Of course you would, because just take a moment to imagine what your life would be like if you were fearless. If you could just take on things, or you could manage fear, or you could use fear as your motivation or your inspiration for doing great things. This is what my coach said to me many years ago. He said, Pete, what is the truth? The truth is this: if you are alive and if you're breathing, you will be causing problems in your life. But your problems should be your inspiration for putting yourself in situations where you can prove to yourself what you can do. So please listen to that song by Imagination, because the lyrics of the song are brilliant. Fear. It's all about fear. Never let your feelings get you down. Open up your eyes. Look around. It's just an illusion. So I asked a question yesterday, and thank you so much. You guys are amazing. You're awesome. If you're watching this now, thank you. If you're watching this on the replay, our mission is to help you be incredible, be amazing, help you use the greatest gift that you've been given, the gift to do great things, the gift to come up with an idea and make it happen. What is the idea? The idea of maybe building your own house, becoming financially free, being slimmer, fitter, healthier, writing the book. Any of these ideas that you might have, and you think, well, what gets in the way? You get in the way, and fear often gets in the way. This doesn't necessarily apply to everybody, but I think it applies to 99.9% of people around the world. I've made my life's work being interested in people and realizing what stops people is fear, and in many cases, worry, which is related to fear, worried about what people think about them, rather than saying, this is who I am. This is who I choose to be. So yesterday, so many people wrote down the things they were frightened of. And what I want you to ask yourself is this: were you born with that fear? Was anyone born with the fear of spiders? No, they weren't born with it. They didn't come out the womb and think, whoa, there's a spider. No, of course they didn't. Were they frightened of what other people thought about them? Were they frightened of anything? No, they had the ability, or they were born with ways of managing two different fears. And that's natural. It's the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. You need that to survive. Why? Because we can't fly, and loud noises often meant there was danger. So any other fear that you have manifested them. And I have to ask you this question because I care for you deeply. How many of you, if I paid you £1 or $1 for every time you had that fear, the fear that you want to break, if I paid you £1 or $1, how rich would you be? How many of you would be multi-millionaires? You'd have more money than anything you could ever imagine. Of course you would. Do you want to let go? And this is the question I have to really ask yourself, because I actually believe, by the way, happy, beautiful day. We're going to have, so I have to ask this question. I was just taking a sip there of my coffee because we're recording this. It's also going to be a podcast. So just if you wonder what I was doing just on the microphone there, you know now. Who would you be? Think about this today. Pete Cohen is asking you a massive question. Who would you be if you didn't have that fear? Right? Who would you be? And just take a moment to imagine that maybe you're wrong about what you're frightened of. So for me, I was massively insecure for years. I was frightened. I wasn't good enough. That's what most people have. They just fear that they're not quite good enough. That is what the world is telling all of us to do. Why? Because when we don't feel good enough, what do? We often just fall into line. We do as we're told. We get a job. We do as we are told. We do what everyone else is doing. What's everyone else doing? See, have you noticed that whenever there's some sort of something in the news about fuel, that everyone just goes out, or there's a shortage of this, and everyone goes into a mad panic. We live with fear because we're doing what everyone else does. And if you always do what you've always done, then you will always get what you've always got. So what is fear? Fear is thoughts. And everyone can have thoughts. But what brings the fear to life is constantly thinking about that thought. And the more you think about it, the more it grows. Can you change what you think? Yes or no? Who can change what they think? I can change what you think right now. I could take my top off, and that would change what you're thinking, isn't it? But you're thinking something else to what you were just thinking about before. You may be thinking, God, he's got a hairy chest. I don't know what you're thinking. He's been sweating. Yes, because I just went to the gym before I came here. Again, apologies for those of you that are watching this and listening to this on the podcast, because you wouldn't have seen that. Does this make sense? You have a choice in what you think. What gives the fear life is your thoughts. And the more you put energy into those thoughts, the more they grow. So you think they become a part of you, but they're not a part of you. They're just something you've inherited, something you've picked up along the way. So my challenge to every single one of you today is to imagine that you have just hired a lawyer. You've just hired a lawyer, and he's the best lawyer in the world, and he's here to defend you. He's here to question these fears that you have, the fear of, I'm not good enough. He's here to question, maybe that's wrong. He's not even here to question. He's here to state the fact that fear is fundamentally wrong. He's here to challenge. We have to challenge our fears. If you don't challenge what you think, guess what happens? You become a victim to what you think. And don't you think that people are victimized enough? Do you not believe that? Do you not think that you have victimized yourself enough? Just got my notes here for the day. So what are we looking at? The fear that you have, especially if you have a phobia, in most cases, the fear that you have is an illusion. Never let your feelings get you down. Open up your eyes, look around. It's just an illusion. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Write that down. That's what fear is. False evidence appearing real. Not in all cases. Some of you would like to prove me wrong because that part of you that goes, no, 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 my fear isn't like this. So you're going to defend your fear. This happened on Sunday. There was a lady who I know who's got a terrible fear of spiders, and she ran away from a spider, and she ran into a needle, and the needle went into her foot, and the needle is still there. She showed me an X-ray of it. They've not taken it out. And when I talked to her about dealing with her fear, this big barrier went up because she's like, no, 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 no. Because in her mind, her lawyer is going, you do not want to let go of this. Because if you let go of it, you're going to have to confront it. That's not the case. You don't have to confront the things you're frightened of. You have to be able to look at them differently. And that's what I'm challenging all of you to do. Whether you've got a phobia or you're frightened that something's going to happen, look at it differently and ask yourself this question. How would your life be? They took it out. Thanks, Carmen. They took it out. How would your life be if you didn't have this fear? Who would you be? What would your life be like? Listen, questions, as many My365ers know, questions are thought directors. Where are you directing your attention? You can direct your fears, your thoughts into the past. Oh, how long have I had this fear? Where did it come from? You can go into the past. You can direct your fears into the future. Who would I be if I didn't have this fear? What would my life be like? And dare to dream. And how would that affect me today? I dare you. I really, 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 really dare you. Come on. Take a moment to think about what your life would be like. And if you say you can't imagine it, of course you can imagine it. You just dare not. Never let your feelings get you down. Open up your eyes, look around. It's just an illusion. Now, I've said this before, and I'm going to say this again. Your brain can only handle one thought at a time, one emotion at a time. You can't feel frightened and excited at the same time. They are quite similar. In fact, they're quite close. But to feel really, really frightened to the point where you want to run away. You can't feel frightened. It's your choice. The day has come. And I ask you to challenge yourself a little bit and think, well, who would I become? Who would I be if I didn't have this fear? How would my life be different? Write this stuff down. The gift you've been given is the gift to create. And what stops people from creating the things they want in their life, in many cases, is fear. False evidence appearing real. And what that does to people is forget everything and run. Forget everything and run. I'm going to forget all of this. I'm going to run away from this. I don't want to deal with it. I just want to go back to what I'm doing now. If you are, and that's fine, and you want to deal with it, and you want to just live your life the way that you are, that's fine. Go in and do that. Go and enjoy it. But if there are things that you want to achieve, the time has come. I mean, right now, it's even challenging enough to hold everyone's attention here because the mind wants to get distracted. Your mind is trying to trick you. That's what the mind does. What's the nature of the human mind? To trick you. You go to sleep at night. You can't. Why? Your mind is playing a trick on you. Walking down the street, you think someone's behind you. Your mind is playing a trick on you. Fear is your mind, in many cases, in most cases, your mind playing a trick on you. Who is ready to My365 their life? Who is ready to have a happy, beautiful day? If you feel the fear, remember, you can let go of the fear. You can allow yourself to feel it for a few seconds, notice it and move on and do something else. You can change the way you feel in an instant. I'm excited to share more with you tomorrow. I'm asking you right now to take some time today and who would I be if I didn't have this fear? How would my life be different? What would I look like? What would I feel like? How would I move through the world? I dare you to see yourself in that way. Because what we're going to do is we're going to create that in such a way that you can start acting like that person. When you realize you're acting like that person, this is what you're going to say. That's like me. Say it with me right now, my dear friends. A good friend of mine has just joined us, Stephen Hughes Landers. Now, I'm pleased he's joined us because you want to go and listen to the podcast that I did with him. Because to follow your dreams means that you're going to face fear. And go to the My365 website, mi365.me, click on podcasts and scroll down. You'll see the podcast I did with him. Many of you have listened to that podcast. Listen to someone who dared to dream, found something he wanted to do. He couldn't let fear get in his way. Plus, what he does, if you watch what he does, incredible. This is a man who will jump in the air and like doing street gymnastics, if you like, and do things that many people wouldn't do because they let fear get in the way. Where he can use what he does, he can use fear as a source of fuel to do great things. And all of us can do that. Bring it on, bring it on, bring it on, bring it on, bring it on. It's time for all of us to grow. It's time for all of us to be a better version of ourselves. Have a great day. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, Instagrammers. I'm just going to make a quick 30-second summary or 20-second summary. See you later, guys. Much love. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. Just follow me. Follow me, because you know where we're going? Well, I tell you, we're going to the top, and then we're coming back again. What do you reckon? Your video will be available soon. That's good. Who's ready for a quick 20-second summary? Are we ready? Let's turn the camera around. Here we go. Guys, this is day 2 on fear busting. It's time for us to open up our eyes, look around. It's just an illusion. Go and listen to that song right now by The Imagination. Came out in the 80s. Realize you are more than your fear. It's time for you to challenge. Who would you be? Who would you become without your fear? Have a great day. Much love to all. If you haven't shared this, share it. Get it out there. Let's change the world. We all need to be fearless. Goodbye. Much love.